And this is Andy B at CAP, Christians Against Poverty in Bradford. Now, earlier today, we spoke with Katie, who's come back. Yes. So obviously, you had such a good time, you wanted to talk more. Also, because Joe said you had to come back.
He did.
To talk about money coaching. So, what's money coaching all about?
Yeah, so money coaching has been around at CAP, I think it's around 2008, 2009, and it was actually the principle that John Kirkby used right back in the beginning to get himself debt free. He put his finances into a budget, he put things together, and that's how he made his offerings to his creditors. He realised really early on that this was financial education was something that just wasn't available. It's not taught in schools, it's not taught in primary, and then for some reason you become an adult, get a wage, and you're meant to understand this stuff. So he started a course, and at the time called CAP Money Course, now called Money Coaching, to teach people to put together a budget that flexed. And it's brilliant. Couldn't have come at a better time, really.
The only financial planning I can recall at school, so I don't know what it's like in Bradford, I was in the West Midlands, and where I lived, you did your 5 years of secondary school and then 2 more years of A-level was tacked on, so it was part of the same thing. And our only financial planning was, the bank came along, I've forgotten which bank, this is how you write a cheque correctly for us. And that was the limit, the complete, absolute everything of our financial training at school. And all I can think is, how helpful is that to me now when I don't write cheques?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm of an age, born in the late 70s, but at school I remember the nearest I got to any kind of financial planning was I did home economics, it used to be called when I was at school, probably food tech now. And they taught us you had to make a meal with a small budget for the amount of people in your home. So there was 7 of us at home. I'm one of 5 brothers and sisters, and they gave me £7, and I had to cook an evening meal for £7 and go and source it, write the menu for it, and do it for £1 a head, and that was about it.
The only thing about that school which really frustrated me is we had this training about how to write a cheque, which is like brilliant. How important is it to life? But they had I had home ec, and there was a little sort of special looking kitchen thing within the whole big room in the kitchen, and so that's for people at that point, for girls who've got pregnant, don't know how to do anything, haven't got a dad around, they can come back into the school and we'll help them to learn to cook and budget. And I remember thinking at the time, shouldn't we all be doing that anyway? Because surely the ability to buy food off a budget and can then create a nutritionally balanced meal, isn't that something that's better done now rather than only in crisis for girls who got pregnant and don't know what to do, which is how they explained it to me. I thought, I would like to know how to budget and how to cook.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about money coaching, is it's available for anyone. I mean, personally, when I became a money coach back in 2009, the first thing I did was take it back to my church and said, this should be what we're doing in church for the next 3 weeks. Like, it's biblical, we're talking about good stewardship of our finances, we're looking at actually if you can save more and all those kind of things, cut back, cut costs and cut out, our 3 kind of taglines, then you've got opportunities to maybe tithe more or improve your personal circumstances or save for your future or whatever it is you need. And I say having that budget that flexes is so important. I don't think, I wish somebody taught me to earlier, and certainly when I learned it in 2009, it took me from a 17-year debt management plan, and we broke it all the way down to 11 years and went debt free in 2016. So.
I'm being very, very carefully apolitical now, but I would love to see any government pretty much in the world go through the CAP budgeting, because I look at some of the decisions and think, if you made that sort of a decision relatively in a home, you get a slap. Yeah. Because what were you thinking? I'm not thinking of any governments, don't go there, that's apolitical. But I do think sometimes we forget the simplicity of just having a basic budget. But unless you know how to make one, how do you know how to make one?
That's right, and that's the great thing money coaching does is if we run through the local churches, I think we have hundreds and hundreds of them in the UK. I think it's over 800 churches that currently partner with us to do money coaching, and it's a free course, and the churches can partner with us for a very, very small amount of money. We'll train them, we'll equip them, and then they can just open that out to people in their community. And I have done it in schools, not just for the young people, but for the teachers. I've done it in mums and tots groups. I've done it in dads groups. Like I said, I ran it in my church for 3 weeks as part of our Sunday teaching series. All around, just what is it to actually look at your life, look at what you want and what you need, and those 2 very different things, and they are different home to home. So I might want a new car, others might need one every 3 years. That might be the way you live, and that is not a problem, but you need to budget for it. And so it's such a great course, and again, it can be run in one day over several weeks, but it's a great way to share just basic biblical principles of great stewardship and give people real practical tools. And the great thing is, at the minute, we've just done our money coaching for kids and money coaching for youth. It's completely free to anyone. So you can just go to our website, capuk.org/money coaching, and anybody can download that. Go take it into your local schools, go take it in for your teenagers. My kids went to uni. It was the first thing I made them do before I agreed to sign any kind of student loan agreement, was money coaching for students. And well, it served them well.
I remember my wife's job when we got married, she was paid 4 weekly, which sounds like monthly, but 4 weekly is not monthly. And we were newly married. I had a job where I was getting paid weekly. She was getting paid 4 weekly, so that's 13 times a year if you can work this out. And the ability to pay monthly when you're getting things every 4 weeks, it may only be a few days difference, but I can tell you for certain, it is unbelievably complicated to try and process. So we found a system through her job, her employer. They just put these, pay monthly, but anyway, they're paid into this service so they could have help that then lets you pay your money in monthly, and as long as you agree to do it over a year, they then help you, because you're paying it in 13 times and they're paying it out 12 times, and it works it out. But stuff like that, I mean, my grandparents, when my nan died, she had a really simple 2-column budgeting sheet. She was perfect to the penny, because they basically had no bills. Everything was paid in cash. It was simple. I remember thinking about my accounts at the time, thinking, my wife gets paid 4 weekly, we pay monthly, and we got direct debits, and we got standing orders, and we got cash, and we got checks back then.
Yeah.
My spreadsheet is not as good as my nan's when she died.
Yeah, and the great, again, and one of the other incredible things that their money coaching offers is an online budgeting tool where you can literally set your income at for weekly or monthly or fortnightly, because we all do get paid differently. And we do, within that structure, within that teaching position, we talk about what is it to manage your money when you are potentially self-employed, like I am in my spare time around this, and money is comes in a little bit differently. What do I need to save for over the year? So, and we look at opening like different bank accounts to actually manage that. So I have what we call a cash account, and literally my money goes in every Friday. My kids still call it Cash Friday, though we don't take out the cash anymore. It's generally on a prepaid card these days, but back then it was Cash Friday, and they knew that was the day that they could ask for things. And if they asked on a Thursday, there's no money, guys. Tomorrow morning it's Cash Friday, and it just managed things differently. It completely changed the way they look at money, and they do it. I literally hear them as students doing it now, going, can't do anything on a Thursday because tomorrow's Cash Friday. So, and I love that. I love the fact they manage well.
So how would you break down the CAP money coaching? I know it sounds like a silly question, but who is it for, and who can it help?
Yeah, I think for me, money coaching can help anyone. I don't know anybody who has ever turned around to me and go, budgeting just didn't help. Oof, just ruined my day knowing where my money was. It just helps everybody. But I mean, specifically, I think if you're on a low income or a very tight income, or maybe your income is not regular, especially for people like students or people that are pension age, it's really, really good at making you think about what do you need to spend over the next 12 months. I mean, I love running this course, and I've run it for so many different kinds of people, but almost everyone in January, what are you doing saving for Christmas? And they're like, well, nothing. It's like 12 months. I was like, but it comes at the same time every year, right? So how about we put a little bit aside each month? And just, putting a hand up in a room, how many people do that? It's quite small, but the little bits like that can really help. It means if there is a big emergency, there is spare money, there is savings. And certainly for me on a debt management plan, it transformed my relationship with money. I think at one time money managed me, and I started to manage money. And I think for anybody who feels like there's a little bit too much month at the end of the money, or that you're like, oh come on, I'm playing that bingo with the roulette almost when you put your card in the cash machine, like, is there anything left? No. This really would help you, and I think it's free. So worst case scenario, have a go. And you know what, even if you don't think you need it, who do you know who might? And by going on the course, just seeing how great it is, how accessible it is, you might be able to recommend it to somebody, and it could literally save them from having to call our 0800 number one day because they're in debt. So.
I can't remember who it was running the money course. It may not have been CAP, but we were in the middle of a debt management plan. We had business debt and all that, and I've said that a few times today. And we were in a local church, and I said, why don't you come and look at this? Let's call it the CAP one, it doesn't matter. But they come and do that. I said, look, we're already in this court-ordered thing, we're already being told what to do. I said, well, just come on. Look, you're either going to learn something new, or you'll be encouraged to get it all right. Yeah. And I thought, okay, so I went along, and in a sense, it was kind of useless. I learnt nothing new. Actually, we were far further ahead. But he was right. It was still useful, because although the first part, we didn't learn anything new, second part, we're actually doing more than we can do. And the amount of peace that gave me that, you know what, we're doing all we can do. And the problem with debt is it takes you out of your ability to control your own life. That's what it feels like. Chatting to Susie, someone who's been through that, and I recognise that. It feels like you've got no control anymore. So taking control is important, but I think that's why there's a lot of wisdom in that chap who said it'd come along anyway. If you learn nothing, fine, it's a cup of tea and a biscuit. That's always good. But if you've learned something new, what if you had missed that?
Absolutely, and like I say, I've said it a few times, it literally took me from a 17-year debt management plan to 11 years, because I realised there was more we could do. That the agency we were with were brilliant, but there were ways we could cut back and cut costs and cut out that we had never thought of. That just, it transformed everything, and it gave us back the autonomy. It was like when you're in a DMP, a debt management plan, or you're going through bankruptcy or insolvency, it feels like everything is taken away. Like, I can't do anything but do as I'm told, and I already feel like a bit of a failure. I already feel like things didn't go the way I wanted. But to take that back and go, actually, you know what, I know you said £7 for food or £8 for this. Actually, I'm going to spend £7.50 and I'm going to put £50 in my savings just because I can. And it just gave you a bit of that back. And just as well as a couple, aligning what we both wanted to save for was really interesting. It never occurred to me that my husband wanted to travel because he'd been everywhere. Why would he want to do that? And I just love the countryside, so I'd just pitch tent and stay there. But it was interesting to save for that together and to set goals for ourselves. And there was just so much in that, setting goals. And life skills, which is another course we offer, takes that extra step further to teach people to look at, you know, how your electricity works, how you can have healthy relationships, not just with money, but with your friends and your family, people around you, your children, and how you can have healthier relationships with your finances and God. So,
Katie, how do people get hold of these courses? Where do they come to?
So they can go to our website, so capuk.org/money coaching, and it will take them to our website. It'll tell them how they can partner with us. It will help you be able to find a local money course if you want to go on for free. They'll be around, and also give you a link to our free children and youth services courses that you can download for free. So if you've got children, or you work in a school, or you want to take this into a local youth group, you can download all of our resources for free and self-led yourself through the training and go and teach.
Cool. Katie, thank you.
The June issue of Pure Media, the magazine, comes out on Friday the 7th of June, with a whole host of international writers speaking on life, faith, sports, technology, joy and more, from our family to yours. In the June edition, we shine the spotlight on Sherry Seligson, a marine biologist from Florida, and Chris Kerr, who helps us focus and celebrate on dads. Sign up today and enjoy all of this and more at www.puremediathemagazine.com.